Hi, it's Kate here from Curtin University School of Education Professional Learning Hub, and today I'm speaking with Joanne Colely, who was a second year student studying a Bachelor of Education secondary education. She is also a very accomplished artist. So after 25 years of corporate work at Yellow Pages and Google, Joanne decided to throw it all away and pursue her dream of teaching art in high school. So I'd just like to start off by asking you, Joanne, how that came about. And thank you for joining us.
Yes,
and,
thank you for having me, Kate.
What made you decide to leave the security of your corporate job and go back to university? And
That's an excellent question.
Yes.
After 25 years of high pressure, having to bring in $100,000 every month, I still to this day don't know how I did it, but I did. And for such a long time. And then one time the carpet was pulled out from underneath me, and suddenly I became a single mum with 2 girls. And I thought, okay, and I had a beautiful house on the beach, but good corporate job, but all my money was going towards paying off bills. And I wanted to give my girls an amazing childhood, and I thought, what can I do to get some spare cash to be able to take them to the movies and take them on nice little trips away and great birthday and Christmas presents? So all of a sudden, I decided that I would teach art to children. And after every class, I'd be like, all right, girls, this is how much we've made. We can go roller skating today, and it was really great with some wonderful memories. But what I didn't expect at all was that how much I actually looked forward to those art classes.
Yes.
Because the children that came to me, and I didn't advertise it in this way at all, but the children that came to me I found were kids who were bullied or had very low self-esteem, ADHD, autism, and quite a few would come to me with these kind of issues. But I always play classical music and opera, and I put positive affirmations in my class. So I don't just teach art. I definitely teach art, but I also make them feel good about themselves. So they actually find they look forward to and count the sleeps to come to my classes.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and then it just kept growing from there, which is fantastic. Some of my kids actually won full scholarships to John Curtin, which is incredible.
That's great. And what sort of age group have you been sort of focusing on with your art classes? All ages?
Pretty much ages 6 I find is the best. 6 to 16 I've been teaching. Yeah. And more recently I've been teaching adults, which has been a completely new experience.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. And the adult classes have been popular?
They have been taking off.
Yeah, that's great.
And I think there's a real need for people now to there's a lot of stress out there. There's a lot of worry. And what I find is the teaching that I teach children, I do it in a similar way to the adults.
Yeah.
I now could almost write a book on dad jokes. So I try and make it really fun and engaging.
Yeah.
We actually painted Tuscany the other day, and I told my students that, there is no pressure. When you walk in here today, I want you to know that I do not want your painting to look remotely like what I'm giving you as a demo. I want it to be yours. I want you to walk away and know that you have done this. And also, look at this landscape, look at this pathway, look at this little house in the distance. I want you to go back to your childhood where you were free and you could just ride your bike, come home when the lights came on at 5 o'clock and immerse yourself back in where you didn't put any pressure on yourself and just enjoy it. And the looks on people's faces when I say that is just so priceless.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous. And so I also want to talk about some of the paintings, some of the people you have painted.
Oh, yes.
So in your spare time you started off by doing a painting of a giant mermaid under Rottnest, which was auctioned off for charity. And then since then, you have painted, let me read a few names, Scott Morrison, Mark McGowan,
Yes.
Daniel Ricciardo, Alf Stewart from Home and Away, Nat Fife, Nick Nutnui, Constance Hall, Damien Martin, Bryce Cotton. That's quite an impressive list of names. So how did that come about? And, how do you find painting these celebrities and what happens to
How
the
did it
paintings?
happen? Yes. Well, this is exciting stuff. So, and I have to say, I'm allowed to say this now. I'm painting Anthony Mundine and Kelly Slater.
Oh, wow.
I'm also painting Basil at Telethon this month, which is exciting. So you may see me on Telethon this year.
Oh.
And I did Al from Home and Away. Yep. So it all started. So basically, rewinding time, I was told that I couldn't paint. So for 10 years I listened and I didn't touch a paintbrush. Can you believe that?
Who told you that?
Someone from my past. But you know what? I'm not going to blame anybody because at the end of the day, that was my choice to believe that and listen to that. Yeah. And so this is really powerful. And that's why I say to people, my perfect avatar in my classroom is someone who thinks they can't. Yeah. Because I'm going to show them that they can. Yes. And it doesn't matter how many skills you have. I can absolutely guarantee you that I can teach you to do something amazing. So interestingly enough, I went to an event and someone was painting something live and she did a great job, don't get me wrong, and it raised $4,000. Mm-hmm. And I walked around, I said, who organised this event? Yeah. And they told me, and it was the wonderful Pat Luca, if you're listening. And because he changed my life, this amazing person. Okay. And I said, Pat, I'm having a coffee with you next week. And he was like, oh, okay. Didn't know me from the virus. So sat down with him and I went, you know what? I saw that girl's painting. I reckon I could raise a hell of a lot more than 4,000. I reckon I could do better than that. Yep. Anyway, so literally 1 year later, can you believe that? 1 year, he didn't forget me. I thought he had. He calls me up. Hey, Joe, Shaky Jakey can't make it to Rottnest this weekend. It's going to be telethon, Alf Barbagallo. There's going to be 300-400 people coming. They're all coming over in their $1 million boats, and we want you up on stage in front of everyone painting something. It's going to go to telethon. And I went, absolutely, when is it? And he goes, 5 days. And I'm like, sure. Then I hang up the phone and go, oh, my God. So I was uni and I recently, for an assignment, looked up an amazing New York artist called Iris Scott, and she paints with her hands, like finger painting. Yes. And I thought, oh, how hard could that be, right? Yeah. Now, remember, I hadn't painted for 10 years. Anyway, so I did some of it, but I did most of it live in front of this audience. 3 hours, I had to have it finished by the end of the event. Yeah. Painted with my fingers, I raised $50,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
So as you can imagine.
And you hadn't painted for 10 years prior to that, so well done.
So word got out. Mm-hmm. So after that, Joe, do you reckon you could paint Nat 5? Do you reckon, actually, it was Nat 5. And then that was 2 weeks before my wedding. And then 5 days before my wedding, I got a call, hey, Joe, do you reckon you could paint Heath Ledger, Optus Stadium live with Thirsty Merc? Oh, wow. And I went, sure, when is it? Saturday night. And I'm like, I'm getting married on Sunday. And they said, so you can't do it. And I went, I didn't say no.
Oh, my gosh.
So there I am on stage painting Heath Ledger.
Night before your wedding.
Night before my wedding. How many people would do this?
Oh, wow.
Then I'm on my honeymoon and I get a phone call, hey, Joe, are you back yet? And I'm like, oh, my God, tomorrow. Do you reckon you could paint Nick Nutnui life size? How long do I have it? Another week. Thank you, Pat Luca. You always. When I painted Scott Morrison, I had 4 days to paint him. The photo was so pixelated. His eyes looked blue because of the reflection of the flag. So I actually
painted from a photo.
Yes, and painted it. I was like, I don't know. I reckon they're blue. And I Googled it. And anyway, I ended up going with brown.
Yes.
And when I met him, I looked at his eyes and I went, oh, thank God.
He's got brown eyes.
There's a song, paint your brown eyes blue.
Yeah.
So he had a bit of a giggle.
Right.
Mark McGowan, that was wonderful. So this is how the next chain of events happened. Yep. So Mark McGowan, I decided, wouldn't it be exciting, because it's based on his name, if I created a McGowan. I saw this amazing international fashion designer called Mauricio Alpizar. Mm-hmm. And I rang him and I said, I love your work. Could I wear it at this Rottnest event? And we got along so well. And I said, Mauricio, imagine if we created the McGowan and we used my artwork and we put it on a gown and we said, mark my words down the back.
Oh, okay.
Hollywood writing, like
Yes.
the Hollywood Hills, because
Yes.
he's bringing Hollywood to Perth. And my painting that I entered into the Archibald actually had the red curtains like the old-fashioned movies. Like I wanted to show little hints of what's
Yes.
to come to Perth. Anyway, so got Channel 9 involved in the West, and we ended up raising $10,000 that day.
Yeah, fabulous.
Which is amazing. So I've raised over 150,000 now. I also helped Millie Lucas and
Yes.
Team Millstar.
Yes.
I've also helped a little boy called Charlie for Charlie's Hope. And what I do is I actually get these celebrities and politicians and sports people, I paint them, and then I get them to sign it.
Yes.
And then we auction them off for
And then they're
charities.
auctioned off, and that's
Yeah.
the money that you've raised. That's fabulous. Excellent. So you mentioned before that you've painted Millie Lucas.
Yes.
And so that's all stretched into raising money for kids' sick charities as well.
So what happened was I actually did it. I met her just before she passed because I wanted to do the book cover because her mum's writing a book. And that cover was recently used for Variety Club Australia. They actually wrapped it around the car. We got a sponsor to do that, which was amazing. And then we sorry. So then at Optus Stadium Live, I actually did a Zoom class to raise money to help pay for some of the funeral costs.
Yes.
And then I also got, and medical costs. And then I had an idea. I had a friend of mine who had these little Shetland ponies, and I thought, why don't we dress them up as unicorns? I advertised that we're going to paint unicorns in a field for the day.
Right.
So I put it on the West, and I was on radio and did quite a bit, and we raised $7,500 that day.
Yep.
So, you know, you can just have an idea and go, I wonder if this will work. I had no idea if that would work or not. It was just a purely great little concept, and everyone still talks about that day today, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
So I encourage families to sit down with their kids and enjoy. And I had a lot of people come with little unicorn cupcakes, which also raised money, and that was amazing.
Yep. Well, that's fabulous. So we've spoken about your art classes for kids, and you mentioned you're doing them for adults now.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is it about the art therapy and the music that you think relaxes people so much and helps them with their lives? And
Well, you know, I was walking around last night and I was telling them I was sick of waking up every morning and it was like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And you just go, you know, and it was same old. And I thought, you know what? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and think that things are going to change, because they just won't. Sometimes you have to take that huge leap. Like I literally had to walk away from absolutely everything that I had, you know, the clothes off my back basically, to start again. And that is very scary to do in your 40s. Yeah. But you know what? I am so glad I did that, because now every single day I just feel so blessed and lucky that I made that change. And I just get really, I think, God, thank God I did that. I would not want to be that person.
To make that change.
Yeah, I could still be that person, you know, that I was 5 years ago. And so much has changed. Yeah. You know? So I want everyone to know that no matter what it is, whatever your passion is, whether it doesn't have to be art, it can be anything. If you really believe in yourself, then you can make a change in your life. Yeah,
that's fabulous. You mentioned before the fashion designer Maurizio Alpizar.
Yes.
I believe you are doing some work with him at the moment on fashion design and sustainability in fashion. Can you just tell us a little bit about that and what sustainability in fashion is?
Yes.
And how that works?
So Maurizio is an absolutely incredible person. His work is not only creative, but it's sustainable. So when I met him and I looked at his fabrics, I said, this is an incredible fabric. It's better than silk.
Right.
And it's actually made from the fibres of an acacia tree, and the inks are used from eucalyptus ink. Oh. So, you know,
Australian too. Yep.
Yeah. So his work has been shown in the catwalks of New York. His work's been worn worn by Hollywood stars. One I'm not allowed to mention, but the other one I can, which is Luke Evans from Nine Perfect Strangers recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think he's also in Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yes,
so
I know
he's
that
a
one.
big fan of Maurizio, and you can actually look at his Instagram and see him wearing some of Maurizio's work.
Okay. Oh, right. And you're involved in the design process of the clothes?
So what Maurizio and I are doing now is we decided to collaborate because our collaboration with the Mark McGowan was so successful.
Yes.
We decided that we would embark on something new and bring something really exciting to Perth. So we are now opening up a shop on Tuesday next week, number 38 Bayview Terrace in Claremont, where fashion meets art.
Oh, right.
And this is something a lot of people kind of hide their cards. But I believe that if you can bounce off each other. Now, this is another thing that I decided when I became a student at Curtin. I thought, middle-aged woman getting towards, who's going to hire me, really? So this is another reason why it all started, because I thought I want to graduate as a famous Australian artist, a successful one. So people go, I want her to work for me. But also I wanted to also to be a better teacher, I needed to learn from the best, not only from Curtin, which has been absolutely incredible, but I embarked on mentors. So I actually got people like Helen Norton. I got some other very famous international artists, and I got mentored by them to learn as much as I could to be the best artist that I could be. And I feel like that has propelled me, I swear, 10 years ahead of my time because of what I've learned from these people. So now it's my passion to do the same to anyone who comes to my classes. And that's my strongest message, is I want to show people what they are capable of. They really, really put their time and focus in and know what they want to do.
Yeah.
And so with Maurizio and I, we're both very passionate like that. And Maurizio would be more than happy to work with any fashion students here at Curtin, and he would love to take them under his wing and do a fashion show and mentor them and teach them about sustainability as well, because this is, as we go on, I think this is more and more important.
Very hot topic.
It's a hot topic,
very
isn't
key
it?
as sustainability in fashion. Absolutely.
Yeah, and with art and fashion, you can't just stop. You've got to always keep going. So you've got to learn and grow consistently, and that's where, if you can be bouncing off other people and in learning and scaffolding your knowledge, then the sky really is the limit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Joanne. Some very inspiring stories there, and just about how teaching and teaching art is so therapeutic and so helpful for so many kids and adults.
Yes.
So your art classes, if anyone likes any more information, you have a Facebook page, which is Joanne _Colely_art?
That's correct. That's correct.
And also a website, which is joannecolelyart.com.
Just quickly, sorry, I just wanted to say, during COVID in Perth, I contacted a radio station, not sure if I'm allowed to mention radio stations, but I contacted a radio station and offered free art classes for kids.
Wow.
And over 1,000 kids tuned in. Now, they had every single day, they had a yoga class, they had a
online
training class,
classes.
Cooking, everything.
Yep.
But for some reason, the feedback I got, and this is a number one radio station here in Perth, said, we had 1,000 people going into yours and they listened the whole time. No one jumped out.
Yep.
And I was supposed to only talk for an hour, and I went over an hour. And no one jumped out. They did the whole thing. So they did another one. And what this tells me is, there's a need out there. There's an absolute need out there.
There's a lot of people that would love to paint, and there's, frustrated artists out there.
Absolutely.
You're helping them discover their inner artist.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us today for our podcast. I really appreciate it. And if you want more information on Joanne's work, you can visit her Facebook or her website. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks, Joanne. Bye.
Was that okay?
Thanks, that was great.
That last was great. COVID and Zoom and, because I know teaching online, I thought, oh, shoot, I'll kick myself if I don't say that later.
No, that's good. That's good.
Brilliant.
Still recording, it doesn't really matter, does it? No, that's great.
Oh, it is
Thank you
too.
so much. I don't know if it is.